Hi and welcome to the final video for week 4 of the Juken Alpha Block Set 1, the new challenges preview season. Today is Taichi's day and we look at not only his first card, a card that really emphasizes his personality, but our first card with a secondary type. Let's start with Retribution Form 1. Yellow has a bit of a theme surrounding hit effects. Not only does yellow like to inflict damage, but adds Salt to the Wound. Salt to the Wound coming in A2. With Retribution Form 1, if your opponent does stop you in your tracks, you at least get something. If your attack with an original hit effect is blocked, raise your Hyper 2. Original is printed on the card, not given to it by an effect. So your opponent either takes the damage and the effect, or they allow you to raise your Hyper 2, pushing you to either Hyper Form or your Hyper Attack. Taichi's arsenal has 4 different attack cards with an original hit effect for a total of 16 cards, just under half his arsenal. Most of the time, the hit effects are so detrimental to your opponent, they will just let you have the 2 Hyper. Your opponent really doesn't want Taichi's effects to stick, which in turn gives him the ability to bait their blocks, remove them, fueling both Sniper Beam and Demon Wind Slash. Juken has cards that have a secondary typing, becoming either buffs or debuffs. Buffs help you, debuffs hinder your opponent. Buffs are typically found in red and blue, while debuffs are found in yellow. Cards with a secondary typing can only be performed or used from your hand as their primary type. Key Disruptor here has to be performed as an attack. Then, when the conditions are met, the card can stay in play when it resolves, becoming a buff or debuff by turning upside down. For Key Disruptor, the condition is its hit effect, so it needs to inflict damage. Still using Key Disruptor as an example, it is considered to be a card that can become a debuff with a continuous effect in every zone, as other cards can look at its secondary typing and check the effects in its secondary text box. When cards with secondary typing become their secondary typing, it's transformative. They lose their original typing and effects while in play. You may only have one copy of any buff or debuff out at any time. If a second copy becomes its secondary typing under your control, the initial copy is neutralized, sent to its owner's exhaust. With all of the gameplay explanation out of the way, let's talk Key Disruptor. Key Disruptor is a level 1 attack with 4 power, the hit effect to raise your Hyper 2, and the effect keyword status effect. So it has to inflict damage to access its debuff form. Nothing special yet. As a debuff, however, Key Disruptor can really put a spanner in the game plan of your opponent, especially Alaturno. It forces a replacement effect on your opponent where the cards they send from their key pool to their exhaust to pay for effects are removed from the game instead. It does affect Lucy a little, she can get back some cards, it also affects Taichi a little too, but Alaturno's whole gimmick is healing. Now he has to decide, do I want to lose this card permanently? Alaturno in particular wants to block Key Disruptor, so as Taichi, you really need to bait him out with other cards or even throw multiple Key Disruptors at him in a row till one sticks. This will cost Alaturno Hyper, as he has nothing to heal, and generally force him into a more aggro game plan he can't play well. Finally, we have Surprising Leg Sweep, a level 0 attack with 2 power that has the attack effect of lowering your opponent's Hyper 1 and removing the top 2 cards of their exhaust from the game. Surprising Leg Sweep is one of those cards that really helps Taichi speed up his personal game plan by removing anything that might be there, including blocks. This is one of the most efficient ways Taichi has to remove your opponent's cards from the game. 2 here, 2 there, along with his own hit effect, Key Disruptor, and other cards in his arsenal, this adds up a lot over a game. It's also the first card we've seen that lowers Hyper, something far more detrimental to Taichi and Alaturno. Lucy can just take it on the chin and blaze past it for the time being. But Alaturno and Taichi have normal hyperspeed. Taking too many lowerings will ultimately lock them out of their level 3 hyper attacks unless they play very smart. Thank you for watching. Come back next week for the final bout of previews before the Kickstarter goes live. We're looking at the second card for each fighter and some other really cool stuff.